Well, new this morning, several people are being questioned after two late-night shootings. Albuquerque police were first called to an area near Central and Eubank around 11 last night. They say one person was shot. The victim is now recovering at a hospital. One person was arrested. Now, a short time later, police say someone inside a car near Old Coors in Gonzales Southwest was firing off shots. Around the same time, they say a man with gunshot wounds arrived at a local hospital. Police arrested several people in connection with that shooting. They say the two incidents are not related. It's still unclear what led up to the shootings. A grand jury has indicted these three men in the shooting death of Manzano High School student Jaden Chavez Silver. Nicholas Gonzalez, Donovan Mays, and Christopher Cruz are facing first-degree murder charges. They're being held without bond. Police believe they targeted the home after getting in a fight there. Well, last night would have been Jaden's first football game of his senior year. In his honor, Manzano High School planned something special. News 13's Lizzie Mitri has the tribute to Jaden and his family.
It's the first football game of the season, but that's not the only reason the crowd is here.
Here we go, gentlemen.
Honorary captains joined the Manzano High School football team on the Cleveland High School field for the coin toss. The parents of 17-year-old Jaden Chavez Silver.
Jaden should be here tonight doing this himself, so it's touching and heartbreaking at the same time.
Jaden was gunned down in a drive-by shooting 2 months ago.
You know, this would have been his year, and this would have been the time he was finally out there leading his team as a captain.
Even without him physically here as captain, the team still found a way to play for Jaden. At kickoff, they brought his jersey onto the field alongside his teammates.
I love that they're bringing out his jersey out because it just feels like he's still on the field with the boys.
Everyone took a knee and took a moment to think about Jaden as his parents walked onto the field.
Jaden should be playing tonight in his first game of his senior year for the Monarchs.
In an emotional moment, the coaches for both teams presented the family with flowers. Jaden's jersey sat on the bench with the team, where they say fans will find it all season.
We didn't know any of this was going to happen, and it's just breathtaking, just so amazing.
Lizzie Mitri, KRQE News 13.
Although the team did not win, Jaden's mom says she told them to play with the heart that Jaden played with. Now, this morning, the city of Albuquerque is facing another lawsuit in connection to a police shooting. The APD officer shot by another officer during an undercover drug operation is behind the suit. It claims Lieutenant Greg Brackle shot Jacob Grant 9 times from a distance of less than 5 feet. At one point, Grant asked him to please stop shooting. The suit claims Brackle didn't follow protocol and was reckless. Newly released police reports show Brackle didn't attend a briefing where it was decided Grant would be used in the undercover operation. The city sent a statement in part saying, "We have a duty to fully defend against the allegations made by Detective Grant." Now, you can read the full statement and lawsuit on our KRQE app. And the man accused of killing Rio Rancho police officer Nigel Benner is racking up even more charges. Yesterday, a federal grand jury indicted Andrew Romero on armed robbery charges. Federal prosecutors say he held up a CVS and a convenience store in Albuquerque in April and May. Romero is accused of shooting and killing Officer Greg Nigel Benner in May during a traffic stop in Rio Rancho. The trial for a former Santa Fe County deputy charged with killing fellow deputy Jeremy Martin will likely be delayed until next year. Attorneys on both sides are asking a judge to push back the trial because there's so much evidence to go through. Police say after a night of drinking, Tai Chan shot and killed Martin at a Las Cruces hotel. The pair was staying the night after transporting a prisoner. The trial was set for October. Now it may not start until next April. And we're learning more details this morning about the LiveTV shooting that killed 2 young journalists. The husband of the only survivor, Vicki Gardner, says she's recovering and telling him more about the attack, saying she never saw the gunman before he opened fire.
He shot 3 times at my wife, and she was trying to dodge everything. He missed twice, and then she dove to the ground and curled up in a ball, and that's when he shot her in the back. Pulled the trigger several times and only fired once.
We're also getting a look inside the accused killer's apartment. In this video obtained by NBC News, his bed is stripped bare, his sink is full of dirty dishes, and his walls are lined with headshots of him. Meanwhile, slain reporter Allison Parker's father is calling for more politicians to look hard at gun control laws after yet another senseless act. Developing now in Houston, police have launched a massive manhunt for this man. He's accused of shooting and killing Harris County Sheriff's Deputy Darren Goforth yesterday. Investigators say Goforth was filling his patrol car with gas when the suspect walked up behind him and opened fire. When Goforth fell, they say the suspect continued to shoot at him. Detectives say the suspect was last seen driving this red truck near the scene. Goforth was a 10-year veteran on the force. This morning, the APS assistant principal shot a week ago is on the road to recovery. Police say Craig Cuthbert shot Jim Chaco in the neck and torso over an alleged affair. Cuthbert, a well-known Little League coach, then shot and killed himself. Chaco remains at UNM Hospital, but he is now posting on Facebook saying he feels incredibly blessed by all the prayers and support. It's unclear how long he will be in the hospital and when he might return to APS. Well, Tingley Beach is getting some major upgrades and more on the way. P&M awarded the biopark with a $50,000 power-up grant. It paid for fresh landscaping, a shaded structure, and places to sit and eat.
Tens and hundreds of thousands of people use Tingley Beach, and it has a lot of community appeal. All kinds of people come here.
City officials celebrated the upgrade with a ribbon cutting yesterday. Developing now, a top state official is facing charges of embezzlement and money laundering. New documents show the Secretary of State, Diana Duran, burned through her campaign funds at local casinos. Attorney General Hector Balderas is charging Duran. Now, according to the case filed in Santa Fe District Court yesterday, Duran transferred massive amounts of money from campaign-related accounts to personal accounts. Those transfers were often followed by large withdrawals from New Mexico casinos. The complaint also says Duran has withdrawn more than $430,000 from New Mexico casinos in the past 2 years.
Yes, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking.
I mean, how do you expect to get away with this kind of behavior? And here's a situation. You have someone in a high public place with a public trust. How do you expect to not get caught doing stuff like this?
The AG's office has filed the charges by criminal information, so a preliminary hearing will happen next. A judge will ultimately decide if there's enough evidence to take Secretary Duran to trial. Now, we've reached out to Duran multiple times. We have not heard back. Now, Diana Duran ran for the position, promising to clean up the Secretary of State's office.
4 years ago, newspapers called the Secretary of State's office a mess.
When Duran entered office in 2011, she claimed Mary Herrera left the office in shambles, including missing paperwork and what Duran called suspicious spending. The Attorney General's office cleared Herrera of those accusations. Then there's the criminal corruption case against Rebecca Vigil-Gueron. Vigil-Gueron was indicted in 2009 on charges of fraud, money laundering, and embezzlement. The case was dismissed when a judge ruled her right to a speedy trial was violated. To read the full criminal complaint, the statements from the governor and the AG's office, go to our KRQE app. Well, exactly 10 years ago, Hurricane Katrina battered the Gulf Coast, killing more than 1,800 people. Today is a citywide day of service to mark the anniversary. But as Wei Zhang reports, some families are still struggling.
If time heals all wounds.
I just got on my knees and just prayed to God, please save us, you know.
Lydia Pelabon needs more of it. She was trapped on a hospital roof for 5 days during Hurricane Katrina. Then she couldn't find her family for 2 months.
I never thought I was going to ever see my mama.
Eventually reunited, they took refuge in nearby cities, including Atlanta, but longed to go home to the lower 9th Ward. It took 7 years.
It felt so good.
Volunteers helped build a new house for Lydia's mom, Bernice, but the 79-year-old says she's never felt so lonely.
You used to sit on your porch, you know, and see people passing by and talking to you and everything. But you don't see that no more.
Thousands of people have not returned to neighborhoods like the lower 9th Ward. Many houses had been passed down for generations and paid off. Without mortgages, owners were not required to have flood insurance.
I lost my way of life.
Ronald Lewis not only found his way back,
Clear out or else.
he found a way to remember those who did not. Lewis opened a small museum in his backyard. Treasures found in post-storm wreckage fill a metal warehouse.
People came and donated the thing because they wanted to be part of something that say, this is ours. And I made my contribution.
Pelabon wishes she could make a different kind of contribution.
If I was a millionaire, I'd build homes back for them. I'll help them.
Even if the Pelabons don't have neighbors, at least they have each other. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, New Orleans.
And happening now, authorities in Florida are prepping for heavy rain from what was Tropical Storm Erica. The storm has already hit the Caribbean island of Dominica hard. 20 people have been killed, and roads, houses, and bridges have been destroyed by the storm. It's expected to approach Florida on Monday and move inland towards South Carolina and Georgia. Forecasters say all 3 states could see heavy rain and high winds. Newly released 911 calls from the Okanagan Complex fire burning in Washington are giving insight into the frantic efforts of firefighters. Authorities say the fire is the biggest in the state's history and hasn't slowed down yet.
I had multiple firefighter entrapment, but the wind keeps shifting. One firefighter or multiples. I have no confirmation yet on how many firefighters I have injured. The wind just shifted again and heading towards Twist.
As the fire unexpectedly changed directions, 3 firefighters were killed. They tried to escape in their van but crashed and were engulfed in flames. Rain this weekend is expected to help the fire slow down. So far, it's destroyed more than 94 homes. Well, breaking overnight, Thai police say they've arrested a suspect in the shrine bombing that killed 20 people. The explosion in Bangkok earlier this month also wounded dozens of others. The suspect is said to be a Turkish national. Police say the 28-year-old was arrested at an apartment in a suburb of Bangkok. An officer told reporters they found bomb-making materials and several passports in the man's apartment. At last check, APS's ex-deputy superintendent Jason Martinez was still behind bars in Colorado. The district says it has collected Martinez's work phone, tablet, and laptop. News 13 has learned he turned in his company car on August 19th and that he logged more than 1,000 miles on it in the 6 weeks he worked for APS. Martinez is facing child sex charges in Colorado. The school board will meet Monday morning to talk about the future of Superintendent Luis Valentino, who handpicked Martinez and created a job for him at APS. The former APD worker in charge of releasing public records says the top city officials hid or got rid of evidence in high-profile cases. The claims came to light in the case of Mary Hahn. Police ruled the prominent attorney's death a suicide, but her family claimed murder and said police botched the case. Hahn's family requested everything from APD's investigation. The former APD custodian of records, Ronaldo Chavez, says he was told by City Attorney Kathy Levy not to give the Hahn family any information. Chavez says that information exists and is kept on a separate database. Chavez says he's worried APD will destroy the evidence. Hahn's family has filed an emergency motion and wants the information handed over to the court to preserve. The city says the allegations are from a disgruntled former employee and are outlandish. Well, the Water Utility Authority says they're looking into an employee after a complaint he was caught sleeping on the job.
That doesn't set a good example.
Neighbors shared these pictures they took Thursday afternoon while crews were fixing a water line near San Pedro and Gibson.
Obviously, even if the gentleman was on a break, it doesn't look good because people might not understand that passing by. They just see someone who they think ought to be on the job.
The Water Authority is looking into who the worker is and says it wants to hear the worker's side of the story before jumping to any conclusions.